Want to do this? You got like an eyelash on the other one. Okay, welcome back to part 2 of the mount escape. So on the last one, we did the elbow knee mount escape, and on this one, we're going to be doing the piston mount escape.
High mount. So technically, I would actually say there's high mount escapes, and then there's branches within them. So the branch would be the piston mount escape, and then I call the modified piston mount escape. So we have the traditional one. So starting off, what do you want to do from high mount? Like if I'm on the bottom, what don't you want to do? So first thing you don't want to do, just like the last video, don't hug the guy. Like no hugging. Like the hugging is the worst thing you can honestly do, just because he's gonna go up into the armpits with his knees, and once he takes that real estate, it's just such a bad day. He can punch you if those punches were allowed. He can pin my hands extremely easy, and it's just I'm way too exposed. So just like the last video where the elbow's got to be on the inside. By the way, if you haven't checked out that video, I might leave a link in the description, or I might have like something pop up on the screen, and you guys can click it and go watch that video just to stay up to date. But like in the last video, elbows in nice and tight. So if my elbow's on the outside like this, always make sure, watch, lean to one side, elbow goes in. Then to the other side, elbow goes in. This is what I want. I want my elbows on the inside of his thighs. This is going to be the best. If I'm on the outside like this, you can't do this move, elbows in. Now, when you first see this move, it's going to look like a bench press. So I'm going to do the move first, I'm going to demonstrate it, then I'm going to actually explain it. So from here, move his weight, elevate, get my knees in, and then up in the butterfly guard position. Now, when you first look at that, it's going to look like a straight up just bench press. And a lot of people do just make it into a bench press. But I want to really highlight that it's not going to be, and you shouldn't make it a bench press. So how are you going to lift him? How am I going to move this guy without actually just doing this? Well, it's all going to be my elbows. My elbows are going to load him up. So if you look what's going to happen first. Right now his posture is really tall. So if I just try to lift him now, I'm not going to move him. There's no way. So I got to get his momentum moving this way. So that's going to be my knee. My knee is going to bump, causing that reaction. Now, when you notice, right before he hits his hand on the floor, and that's going to stop his momentum, I have to make sure I continue his momentum. So when I knee him in the butt, he's going this way. Along this journey from A to B, I'm going to have to bridge and lift my elbows like this. So you see my elbows are doing this. It's actually not a bench press at all. So know this, just lift like that. So from here, knee him in the butt, get his momentum forward. Watch. You see that? You see that momentum? As he's moving, I bridge. When I do it at the same time, he's gonna get lift off. Now watch as I do the kneeing, the bridging, and then the elbows. You guys see what that does? Right now, this is my elbows holding him up. Touch your toes together, bring your knees to the inside, and watch that kick him forward. Use your hooks, stretch, and sit up. So again, knee him in the butt, bridge, use your elbows. Again, it's all in the elbows. 1, 2, and 3. And once you place him in the butterfly guard, sit up with him. Don't just do this. A lot of people will end up in the butterfly guard like this. But this is lazy. You want to sit up, double underhooks, 1 and 2. So that first one was just a very basic version. It's a very good version. But the higher level guys, when you roll with them, it just doesn't really work that well anymore. So I'm going to show you a modified version. This one is really, really good, especially for a very common reaction against the first one I showed you. So what's going to happen now is when I knee them in the butt, what he's going to do, he's just going to counter by leaning back against it. And what's going to happen is I won't be able to make his hands post on the mat. So if I just go like this, he's going to ride back, and then you're just not going to be able to do it. And once they get to like a high level blue belt, purple belt, it just really won't work anymore. So I'm here, I'm like, oh, I'm going to knee him in the butt. And you're like, oh, jeez. And it won't work. If you can't get him moving this way, it's not going to work. But the weakness of that reaction is that he has to lean back. So watch what I'm going to do now. So as he starts to lean back, I'm going to change direction. I'm going to post my foot back on the ground, press against his hips. Now I want to push him. This time you are going to be doing a little bit of a push. So as I push, I'm going to hip escape. And what happens is his hips become very, very light for a moment. And that allows me to scoot away from him. Now watch as my top knee flares open. Always flare that top knee because I'm ending up in a very smash position and he can actually collapse my whole frame. So I want to make sure once I push, flare that top knee, hand goes for an underhook, bring in my second knee, and then same, just like the first piston mount escape. I sit up into a butterfly guard with double underhooks. So in fact, the actual beauty of this move is that you just have to feel him leaning back. And once you push him, you will shock the guy. He'll actually just fling. So we'll do that again. So elbows in tight. Always elbows in tight. If your elbows on the outside, fight them to get back in. Now, I'm going to go for the first one, but he resists back. All right, I'm going to do it again. I feel it, put my foot on the ground, push as I hip escape. Always hip escape. Don't try to like just bench them off of you. Hip escape, then the top knee flares, catch my underhook. Now I use my elbow here. If his knee's really tight against me, you can use my knee. Now I sit up. Yeah, we just tore up the mat, but it's okay. And then connect.
And that's gonna be it for the part 2 on the mount escape video. Again, they're very, very basic, but in my opinion, it's gonna be the best. It's gonna carry you from white belt all the way up to black belt. You really don't need anything else. Me personally, I'm not a fan of the techniques where you have to grip the guy and try to bridge him over and roll him. I'm not saying they don't have their use, but for the most part, I'd rather avoid those and just keep it to this. Keep it to the last video, the elbow knee mount escape, and these 2 versions of the piston mount escape. And honestly, you should be good to go. If you have any questions on the videos, please just leave a comment. I love answering them. Otherwise, if you haven't subscribed, do that now. Like our video, share. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video. I heard the. I'm like.
And you see it come apart, and so the next time he moves, everything just came apart.